Okay, here's a Honda CBR1000F, or Hurricane as it's sometimes known. And I picked this bike up yesterday, got it from a friend stroke colleague who got in touch with me and asked me if I wanted it. And if I did want it, I could just have it for free. Of course, I'm delighted to accept that offer, a free bike. Yeah, I'm really pleased with that. The story behind the bike is that he used it as a commuter for a while, and it got put in the back of the garage. I think it's been in the back of the garage about 4 years, and he decided he needed some room, so he'd offered it for sale to a couple of dealers who come up and were offering him like £200, stuff like that, and he wasn't keen, so he said he'd rather give it to me for free than give it to a dealer for £200. So thanks for that, Jonny. I'm pleased. These bikes are pretty much unappreciated, particularly here in the UK. They don't have a lot of value, which is a shame because they're pretty solid big bikes, and you know I think it's 132 horsepower, 76 foot-pound of torque, so they're pretty good. You know, they can motor on, they'll get you to where you want to go, and they're pretty solidly built as well. They're pretty reliable. Usual stuff, you know, especially if they're used in the winter, you're going to get things that are needing done. But for a bike that comes from 1987, you know, testament to the build quality. Yeah, it's kind of hard to work on bikes when Oscar's around. I think he's wanting to help me, but then I think it's all about him. Hey, son. He likes his attention. An initial assessment of the bike, I've noticed things that are pretty positive about it. Like the tyres. The tyres are really good. The rear tyre is very slightly squared off. It's not very much, it's just very, very slightly. It's still pretty round, so it's okay. And they're within date as well. Wheels have been powder coated. There's a fairly recent exhaust been put on it, a stainless steel Black Widow, I think it is. You can see in here. And I suppose in the process of doing that, what's had to happen is the bottom belly pan's come off, because this would be in a different position from the original exhaust. But I do have the belly pan, so I'll maybe be able to do something with that. Forks are really good. They're very clean and dry, not pitted at all, and no leaks. On the kind of negative side, obviously, she's beaten up a little bit here and there. Typical of bikes of this era, we've got cable ties holding parts of the fairing on. The seat's pretty good, actually. The seat's pretty good. There's a little chip here, but other than that, it's alright. Tank's good. The clocks have got a little bit of cracking going on in the faces here, but they'll work. Switches are a bit faded. Bolts missing, that'll probably be broken in behind there. These were pretty flimsy. The gear, the oil seal here is leaking, but that's not a big problem, it's not a big deal. The chain looks okay, and it looks as if it's got loads of adjustment. Probably needs a wee lubrication there, but I'll give that a good checking over. The brakes are free. It rolled right out of his garage. And also, I don't know whether it was him that fitted them or the previous owner, but these rotors, or these discs, wavy discs I think they're called, have been fitted, so that would have been a less expensive option than the originals. However, they're discs, and if they work, they're fine. Typical of the time, these sort of Nissan two pots, pretty weedy by today's standards, but you know, they'll probably do the job. So I don't know what I'm going to do with the bike. I'm going to do something with it, probably get it MOT'd and either use it or get a good home for it. That's the position I'm in with that. So the other positive with this bike is this, I'll show you, is it came with a full service kit. Even the little seal that's needed for the gear lever. So there's plugs and fuel filter, full set of disc pads, the air filter, oil filter, even the little washer for the sump plug to replace that. So yeah, it's an absolute gift. I'm looking at it as a gift, and the engine sounds really sweet. I'll take some video of the engine running. She's a little bit lumpy on startup, but then I think the fuel in it's about 4 years old, and I would say probably the carbs will need a cleaner of balance. So again, that's not a big issue to do that. Easy enough to sort that out. I think there might be something rattling in this area as well, but once she warms up she sounds really good. There's not really any sound of the famous Honda cam chain rattle, so probably if it's survived this length of time it's going to be fine. So I'll get some video of it running. Yeah, I think just a thorough service, some proper maintenance. I'll recommission this bike and put it back on the road. Pleasantly surprised. I'll probably strip the brakes, just clean them out, check the head stock bearings, and clean the carburetors, as well as a thorough service. If you have any experience of this bike, please leave them in the comments, but I would imagine this would be pretty good. I did have a Blackbird at one point, which was a great bike, and this is the forerunner to it, so I'd expect it to be pretty good. Okay, so thanks for watching. I'll update you when I can. Take care and ride safe.